There's 2 of us, though, so it's trainers this
Plural.
week. Plural. I guess most of the time it's multiple. This is where you ask the questions and we give answers. My name is David Dietrich. I am here from sunny Southern California, helping out in this week's video because I don't usually get to, because I'm in sunny Southern California, and these are filmed in Seattle, where my good friend Tim resides, and gets to be a part of these all the time. So, the 2 of us are going to delve into the box of questions. Tim, where do we get these questions?
We get these questions. We comb the internets. We get these questions from questions that you've tweeted to us on our Twitter account and or posted in Facebook or in comments underneath our different Chronicle posts or just across topics and builders. So we take them from all over, try and get them as concise as possible so that then we can serve you better and answer those questions.
I can hear them.
You can? There's a lot of them. They're like, answer me.
All right.
Draw the first one. I will draw one. Okay. Can a church use Access ACS or Wufoo registration for volunteer signups? Mr. David Dietrich.
You know, I get this question a lot. It's like you've heard it before. The best solution, in my opinion, is Access ACS if you have that, because it will integrate right into the database. But you can absolutely use forms. The specifics of the question, I think, using it in events for registration, absolutely. Paid registration is when it's the most viable. Yeah. But you can use this in emergency contact forms. You can use it for registration forms for like a retreat. Definitely seen churches use this for like youth retreats, not just for the permission slips, but for T-shirt size,
cabin
assignments. All
I'm going to do paintball. I want to ride horses on the beach. Sunset.
This is sounding more like a eHarmony video now, but not necessarily a use for Access ACS forms.
It could be on a form.
It could be. But Wufoo is also very helpful. Wufoo, if you're not using Access ACS, Wufoo is fairly inexpensive. It's got powerful tools. Both Access ACS and Wufoo, they allow you to embed the form into the event for the things that you need to gather right there in the city. But there's also a component that you can link to outside of the city, so people that are not at the church on the city already, if they were going to register for the event thinking like a retreat, still completely usable as a link from your website.
Totally. All right, so to recap, yes,
both can be used.
They're group specific.
Group specific, yep.
So
you can turn on for groups.
Exactly.
Specifically.
So, you might not want to allow my small group to be able to do
I don't want to allow your
Wufoo
small
payment,
group to do
Access
anything.
ACS payment events, but certain groups you can. Yeah. You have permission
only
and control.
If you trust them.
True. I get that. All right. All right, is this for me?
I'm debating on making up a question just to
good.
Try to stump you. Have any good ideas for events to help promote city adoption? Do you have any?
Do I have any good ideas for events for city adoption? Yeah, I mean, I think that churches have used, assuming this is after launch and kind of a big launch event and a big, promotional campaign, I think that something like, a Apple Store Genius Bar type thing where you can have people know that this coming Sunday out in the lobby, we're going to have a bunch of laptops, a table, maybe people wearing shirts, so everyone knows who to go to. If you have any question about the city, you need to update your information, you're not quite sure how to do X, you can't remember your login, you need something reset, that can be super helpful as an event type thing. Other than that, it depends on the culture and the rhythm of your church. If you have Sunday school or something like that, where to help out with a particular demographic that maybe isn't as technologically savvy. And I know that you have a couple examples, especially for those maybe elderly. It is a blessing to have a multi-generational church, but I know that you had a couple of churches that had, they partnered with and did some stuff.
Yeah, I did. I wasn't even thinking about that, but I did have a couple of churches that would take their newlywed groups and then pair them with some of the boomer generation or some of the elderly folk. And the elderly folks would kind of do some discipleship, and the newlywed folks would help with the technology. And it was a really good pairing of people together. And they would base that, they would center that around an event where they would do an event, they would bring everybody together and kind of do that. I'm thinking about other stages in adoption as well, and that, if some of the events at my church that cause the most adoption for the city or the most engagement on the city, kind of get people on, are potlucks. So, I oversee small groups at my church, and I tell my small group leaders, once a month, I want you to do a potluck. Not just because it's a great way to build community and relationship, but also because it's a good way to keep people plugged into something, or plugged into the city, that group on the city, and be able to kind of share a task that requires them to respond. It's not just an option for them to respond.
Totally.
So I think a lot of times when it comes to adoption and engagement of the city, those events, we think of big events, but it's really kind of the smaller events that can have a lot of impact as well.
Totally. It goes back to that tried and true. If nothing's going on, no one's going to actually participate.
Do one more question? Or?
One more, right? Why not?
I'm choosing.
All right. What's the best way to schedule? Okay. What's the best way to schedule meal deliveries to a family?
You can do it two ways. I think it really depends on what the goal is. I prefer needs. You can use events. I just feel like there's more there that you don't really need. When it comes to a family, a need, you can create that need. You put the allergies, you put the preferences, things like that, into the description of the need, and then you just set each date set to the meal delivery, and then the number of people that meal is for, kind of in that description. Is something I've seen a lot of churches do, and then people can sign up for it in the group. Don't forget you can share that need as well. It's really powerful. There was my church. We had a ministry that was people involved in that ministry. That's all they did. But then whenever one of the college leadership couples would have a baby, there was this influx of people that wanted to bring the meal as well. So they create the need in the meals ministry group. They share it over to the college ministry group and allow all of those college students to kind of take part in that as well.
Yeah, and if you make it shareable from the beginning, you can, as people say, hey, I want to help out, or they can share that bit.ly, tweet it out. And that's you put in the date and what it's for. So say something as simple as dinner with date.
Yep.
Dinner with date. And I know for families, if we're talking about families, one thing that someone did for us was dinner, then a date, and then play date. Afternoon play date, then a date. So people could sign up for different needs, and those are tasks under the need.
Yeah, because you can go beyond the meal in that way, that each item is a separate thing, and people are signing up for that specific item.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Perfect. I think we nailed that. Well, builders, ask us questions. You can obviously use that Twitter thing and tweet us, Twitter it to us, use Facebook, put it on our Facebook page, ask questions in the comments under this one, and we'll make sure that we throw them in there. And
next time.
There will be a lot more. I think that's it. All right, thanks, guys. Something like that. Merry Christmas.
Hey builders, welcome to this week's version of I don't know where to look. All right. I don't remember your last name. What is it?
I don't remember either.
Yeah, I don't. Better than this guy.
Dead center.
Sorry, I'm getting a little.
Where do we get these questions, David?
They were here when I got here.
Oh, all right. That's called. Where am I?
Oh yeah.
This is Ask the Trainers.
Ask the Trainers. With Tim and I here alone, this just went really bad.